Pete Dougherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette joins us now to talk all things Packers. Welcome to the show, Pete. How you doing, buddy?
Good, Ryan. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are things going out there? Nothing to write about this summer, it looks like.
Yeah, it's the circus kind of came back to town. But it's going to be kind of a dead period. I mean, there's going to be little snippets of news between now and the start of camp, but the next big date is whether he shows for the start of camp, and if he doesn't show for that, then it's whether he shows for the first game. And even with the start of camp, that's when things will get really interesting if he doesn't show, because that'll begin to suggest how serious he really is about wanting to get out of here.
Yeah, talking with Pete Dougherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette again about this Packers situation. Has it? I mean, you have your contacts, you have your sources and things like that, but is it leading to a possible return for the season because we haven't heard Aaron Rodgers blatantly come out and say it on the record, like, I do not want to be here. I'm not going to be here. We've heard it from different ways. We've heard that he's had a problem with it with Kenny Mayne on SportsCenter, but we haven't heard like that ultimatum, like, I'm done, I'm out, I'm not playing there again.
Yeah, we've heard it from surrogates. So, I believe that it's true to at least some degree that he wants out. But, the real proof will be what kind of financial hit he's willing to take. Is he willing to, sit out a season? Is he willing to even, retire for a season or maybe longer? So I believe it's true that there's, that he's pretty serious, but I waver. I keep going back and forth on whether he'll actually pull the trigger or not. Since this stuff broke, right at the draft, I've been basically hovering around 60-40 that he won't be there. He won't be back, and he won't be their quarterback this year. And just in the last week or so, I've kind of flip-flopped it to 60-40. He will be. Some of the things James Jones has been saying, make me think maybe Rodgers, is kind of laying a little groundwork for coming back and having the plausible deniability you talked about there, because he never actually has said, I definitely want out. But, on the other hand, Davante Adams, when he's talked about it, he's in touch with Rodgers. He didn't seem super optimistic. So really the only people who might know might be, Rodgers and his fiance and his agent. And maybe even they aren't sure, what the ultimate decision will be until it's time to make it.
What is Aaron Rodgers' legacy if he doesn't come back? If he decides to retire with 3 MVPs, a Super Bowl title, and, essentially 4 NFC championship losses that could have got him back, is it a place where he's seen as the greatest Green Bay Packers quarterback of all time, or does he need that other championship to exceed Brett Favre and get to the same level as Bart Starr?
Yeah, I would think he would need to win another championship to get past Favre. Right now they're neck and neck. They each have their strengths. They're both. Rodgers will be a no-brainer Hall of Famer. If I'm a Hall of Fame voter. If I'm still on the committee, my speech for my presentation for him will be as long as it was for Favre, which was like 9 seconds, I think. So, Rodgers will go down as one of the greatest pure passers the game has ever seen. A fantastic, great player. Helped build the Titletown district out here, which is going to be it's a business district next to Lambeau Field, which the Packers own, and it'll be a revenue stream for decades to come for this franchise. So it's done the franchise a lot. He'll have all those things, but he'll also have, the championship losses, some of which, he bears little or no responsibility, but 1 or 2 of which he's right in the thick of being responsible for the loss. So, it'll be a mix, but obviously, push comes to shove. He goes down as one of the all-time great quarterbacks if he were to quit right now. And, like you say, he could have 3 to 5 real good years left. Who knows? They have a good team, or whoever else he might end up with. He could win another Super Bowl or 2 real easily.
Yeah, if you look what Tom Brady did from age 38 to 45, essentially 43, I think he played for 4 championships. So that's And I also think that has something to do with it. I think that Aaron saw what Tom was able to do, and I just don't know if there's a landing spot for him that's a better place to win a championship than in Green Bay, because they need each other, right? Green Bay's win-loss record may be hovering around 7 or 8 wins without Aaron Rodgers, and that's given a lot of credit to Jordan Love as a essentially rookie quarterback if he gets the call. This seems like a terrible hill to die on, because he found his voice this offseason when I thought the perfect opportunity for him to voice his dominance and leadership and I'm the guy was in the NFC Championship, when he walked off the field and allowed the team to walk on and kick a field goal there. That was the moment, and where he puts his hand up to LaFleur and says, no, if we're gonna lose this game, it's gonna be on my arm. I'm the leader. Here it is now. This is where I told the line. And I was shocked that didn't happen. And then this offseason is when he chose to kind of take the stand then around his what he thinks is his position with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and if Love is their quarterback, even if Love turns out to be a really, really good player, I think 4 or 5 wins is probably more realistic. Rodgers was in his 4th year in the league when he became a starter, and look how great he's turned out to be. And they went 6-10 his first year as a starter. So it's just tough sledding with a rookie, or with a really, really young quarterback who's never been a starter before, no matter who the guy is. And yeah, for sure, this is their best. This is Rodgers' best chance to win the Super Bowl, and obviously the Packers need him to win one. There's nobody that they'd be willing to trade him to now who would have a better chance than the Packers this year, for sure. And they're set up to be really good, this year and probably next year, unless some strange things happen with serious injuries. And in that championship game, there's plenty of responsibility to go around. There's that touchdown they gave up on basically the last play of the first half. Devontae Adams dropped a touchdown pass early on a 3rd down, so they had to kick a field goal. Aaron Jones fumbled on the first possession of the second half. That gave the Bucs some free points. But, the Packers did get the ball back twice on interceptions early in the 4th quarter, down 5, and went 3 and out with 6 straight passes both times. And they got down there and had a chance to score, and he didn't get them in. So there's responsibility for everybody in that game. And that, that's one of the questions Rodgers has to answer is what's more important. Does he want out so badly that he's willing to walk away from what will be his best chance to win a Super Bowl, at least this year and maybe for the next couple of years? He learned even in LaFleur's first season how hard it can be adjusting to a new offense. They went 13-3 in LaFleur's first year and 13-3 last year. They were so much better. They were such a better team last season, and their offense was so much better. And one of the reasons was it was Rodgers' second season in the offense, so he had the thing down cold, which even with a veteran guy who's been around forever and is a great player and is a really bright guy, there's still that adjustment period to a new offense. So if he goes to a new team, he's got to endure that too.
We're talking with Pete Dougherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette about the Packers situation around Aaron Rodgers. Now, let me ask you a question about Jordan Love, right? Because this guy didn't ask for any of this. He came out of Utah State, just wanted to be a professional quarterback. He gets drafted by an organization which he should be incredibly proud of, because they've had a lineage of great quarterback play and how they've developed quarterbacks. Instead, he gets thrown into a mix where there's a feud between Rodgers and the front office. And then this year, Rodgers decides not to show up, which I think is the best thing for Jordan Love, to get more snaps. But every practice is going to be over-scrutinized. So if he has a bad practice, it's going to be the end of the world. If he has a good practice, the hyperbolic clamoring for this guy to be the guy then happens. It's really unfair to the young man. I know you decide to be a first-round draft pick, or you decide to go pro and you are a first-round draft pick. There comes with pressures. But it seems incredibly unfair to a guy that had no say in any of this.
It is, and I guess it's one of those many things in the world where, I guess fairness doesn't have much to do with it.
Right.
It's just the way it is, and he's got to live with it. But one thing, you are 100% right, And it doesn't hurt the Packers at all to not have Rodgers here this offseason. He doesn't need the work. Sure, you'd rather have him here than not, but he doesn't need the work with these guys. He can come in, and 2 weeks into camp, he's right where he would have been anyway. So that's not an issue at all. But Love I've never seen this. I've been covering this team since '93, and I've never seen this before. Always in practice that are open to the media, training camp, mini camps, all that. If there's a 14-play period, the starter takes the first 4, the backup will take 2 or 3, and the number 3 will take 1 or 2. The patterns vary a little bit, but that's basically it. In this camp, Love took, in the mini camp where they were going full speed, he took 95 to 98% of the snaps. Somebody else on the beat, Rob Domofsky of ESPN, he counted up the snaps that he took, and Love took more snaps in the 3-day mini camp than he took in all of training, in 11-on-11, than he took in all of training camp last year. So he got a ton of work, really valuable. You're right, it was so over-scrutinized. His first day was really unimpressive. I mean, it was just blah. He did nothing. Second day, he had 4 or 5 just really, really good throws. And you go, okay, this is what made this guy a first-round pick. And the third day was kind of in between. So you're right. Every day in camp is going to be scrutinized, but he's just got to live with it and keep his eye on the target, which is, becoming a better quarterback and getting himself ready to play in case he's needed.
Pete Dougherty again from the Green Bay Press-Gazette talking all thing Packers. I talked about who blinks first in this scenario. The Green Bay Packers have absolutely, I feel, have all the leverage here. They simply decide whether he'll be traded wherever he wants, wherever they want to trade him, if they decide to do that. If they feel like Jordan Love is improved enough where he can be a guy to lead them someplace early on, that's something. But I also think that, to your point, Aaron could show up, the Monday of week 1 and go to work and be the guy. I don't think he'd do that. I think he'd come maybe the last week of the preseason. But your 60-40 in terms of him playing for the Packers, mine verges more on the 80-20. I think he's back. I think he wants to win that second championship. This is the best opportunity for him to do it, and I think it would be incredibly powerful if he were able to do it. And show Ryan Gutekunst that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm the straw that stirs the drink, and you're going to see why when this is all said and done.
Yeah, and when throwing those numbers around, you're probably right. But I just the thing that gives me pause is, I think it was Mike Freeman who used to work for the New York Times. I think he's with Bleacher Report now. About a year ago or so, he wrote about Rodgers, and he called him a world-class grudge holder, and he's right. And so, I don't want to underestimate if you cross him and he just really feels like he's been wronged. I don't want to underestimate the chances that he might actually follow through. But you're probably right. It probably is more 80-20. He has all the leverage, the Packers have almost all the leverage on this. But I kind of think of some nightmare scenarios where, let's say he shows up. I think a player has until week, it's 9 or 10, I think, where if they show up by then the season counts on their contract. So it's an accrued season. And so he'll be another season into his contract. And so if he shows up then, they'll have half a season in. And, if Love or whoever's playing is playing okay, then, I would assume you'd still put Rodgers in. But what if they're already out of the playoff race? So there might be a point where if he does sit, maybe early in the season, they would trade him, maybe even in camp if they got an offer that just blew their socks off. Maybe they would do the deal then. So I always keep that in mind. But you're probably right. Probably is more 80-20 that he's their quarterback. But I just have that little voice in the back of my head about be cautious. You never know, how far he might be willing to go on this. So that's why I go with 60-40. It's probably just being overly cautious on that.
Well, it's going to be an interesting, 90 plus days, I think, before that Thursday night kickoff, where we're at. Camp is about to kick off in about 5 weeks or so for the Green Bay Packers. We'll know a little more then. I want you to take some rest because your computer fingers are going to need it to type out these stories every single day. It's going to be high drama.
It is. I was here obviously when all the Favre stuff happened, and Rodgers was in the Jordan Love position at that time, and it was wild. And when Favre showed up, I'd never missed a training camp practice. I missed the full first week because I had to be in the office working the phones, figuring out Favre. And it does make you wonder if this is going to be something like that, or if maybe I think it's July 27th is when camp is supposed to start, reporting date. Maybe he shows up then, and it's all kind of put on hold, semi-hold until next February or March.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I really appreciate you taking the time. Pete Dougherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette joining us, talking all things Packers. Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.